Hey guys! Okay, so now I'm going to talk about other kinds of organization that might be helpful to you. So the thing I'm going to talk about today is labeling things. So this may sound crazy, and I may be a little OCD, but I label everything because it makes it easier to find. I also use a lot of clear containers, but sometimes I can't tell what's in it, even in the clear container, which is why everything I have has a label. Even my label maker has a label. Label maker in this box. That way, again, I can see stuff quickly and easily. It helps me see what I have. I'm like, oh, this is interfacing, this is lace, this is ribbon. Oh, this one doesn't have a label, why not? I think it's on the other side. Oh, it doesn't have a label, so I gotta put one on there, right? And I know that this is lace and like trims, lace, trims, ribbons, which is why it's together with the ribbon, but it needs a label because I'm like, what's in there? So one of the things I will talk about is the different kinds of labels. So here's let me move this container out of the way here. I live by the label maker. So I have a Dymo Letra Tag. I know it's in reverse because I'm on mirror image, but it's a Dymo, D-Y-M-O, okay, Letra Tag. They sell these at Target. They sell them at Costco. They sell them on Amazon. You can get them anywhere. They come with a few different types of labels that you can put in them. So the one that I use the most is the white plastic. So let me tell you the difference. They also come with white paper, which is what I started with originally. The problem with white paper is they start to yellow over time. So I was trying to see if I have one I can show you. I think I actually switched all my labels over to plastic. I peeled all the paper ones off because they get kind of ugly looking over time. The downside is that the paper ones stick better. So the plastic ones on the plastic peel off real easy. So if you're not careful, like, they'll peel off. So far, none of these have just peeled off on their own, but if you go to peel it off, it just comes right off. So if you want something a little more sticky, use the paper. Be willing to replace it after a year or two because it does turn yellow. But I like the white plastic. They also make like a clear, so you can have a clear label so you don't see it. So it's up to you, but that's what I use. I label everything. Use my handy dandy, trusty dusty label maker. And then let's talk containers. So again, it depends what you're using them for. How often do you get into said item? If it's something you use all the time, you probably don't want a container with a lid, right? So elastic, I have mine. And I said this on my last video, I always use locking lids because I've picked stuff up and had the lid pop open on one end and everything fall out. And then I was like, ugh. So I always use locking lids. You can pick them. They stack really nice. They're a nice kind of almost squared edge, so you don't lose a lot of space in between your containers. But for example, if you see this box here, if this is a decorative box, it's got patterns in it. Because I get to my patterns probably more often than I get to my elastic because I'm not always doing a project with elastic in it. So this is real easy for me to do. I can go, and I have two of these. I have one here and I've got one kind of up over here. These are the patterns I use the most. I actually have a drawer underneath my drafting table that has the rest of the patterns. And those are ones I don't use as often. And a lot of time I make my own patterns. So I have a box of those and it's labeled handmade patterns. And it's over on that side, which is closer to my table that I use. So, decide, how am I using this thing? How often am I using this thing? Pens, for example, like I've got a little, fun container here where I've got a lot of like different kinds of pens that I use, my X-Acto knife, whatever, like something you're going to use often, keep it accessible, right? Buy yourself cute containers because it makes it fun to organize, right? These really cute ones I actually got at Hobby Lobby. They're ceramic. I like it because it's a little heavier so it won't tip over. I have some plastic ones that sometimes tip over, so not the greatest thing. And then here, let me move, I have my chair in the way here. If you can see this, so I use a lot of buttons, and so I just got a Lazy Susan rotating 2-shelf tray. And then I got a bunch of clear jars from like the dollar bin at Target when they have them. And I just filled them with buttons, and I just did the buttons each color. Like these are black, these are white. And I just, or look, here's a jar of Christmas puffballs. Like I will use these eventually, but a jar is easy because I can see it. It can store on the thing, right? It's just an easy way to hold small items. I find that tiny stuff's really hard sometimes to corral. But find something that works. So these shelves are Billy bookcases from IKEA. They were inexpensive, and they go floor to ceiling. So they have an extension on them, and they actually go all the way to the ceiling, which gives me so much more space. Before I had like bookcases, and then the top was just piled, and it didn't give me enough space. So I needed to add the add-on, which was like $15, $10. And the shelves themselves are like, I don't know, $45, $50. They're not a lot of money. And if you can't afford to do it all at once, I've done my whole studio, but it took me time. I bought one, then I bought another one, then I bought two more when I could afford it, and now I've got them all, and they're anchored to the thing. So make sure you anchor them, because these will tip over if you have, especially if you have kids who climb. Don't, please anchor your furniture. But here, let me give you kind of a shot. See, it goes all the way to the ceiling. So, and then on my fabric cabinets, I also, these smaller ones are actually like a Walmart one, because it's just like a 6 cube and then another 6 cube. But I've got the Billies over here, all the way floor to ceiling. And then right here, I've actually got a double wide Billy, because it comes in the smaller one, which I think is 16 inch, and then this one's 24 inches wide. And this was for some of my bigger stuff, and it goes floor to ceiling as well. So, find the storage solution that works for you. I like the Billy because they're inexpensive. The shelves are really movable. You can buy extra shelves for like $5 or $10. So I actually probably have added 2 or 3 shelves to each one of these, so I have more space. Because again, I don't like stacking stuff too high, because then when I go to pull it out, I have to pull the whole stack out. Here it's just 2 or 3 tall, right? Like 2 containers, 3 containers. You know, this and this is it. So I like the small little shelves because I feel like it's easier to kind of keep things, put things. You can easily fit, if you can see, you can fit a binder size in one of these. So they're tall enough to fit this. And so like, here's some more labels. I labeled my binders, and I have things like crochet patterns, other patterns, plushie patterns, art stuff, inspiration. Like, this is one of the ways to corral paper, right? Buy yourself some binders, get some clear plastic sleeves, stuff them up into the cabinet. That way you can save things you kind of want to remember and look at, because I'll post up out of magazines, or I'll print patterns offline that I've purchased. You know, like I've purchased crochet patterns off Etsy. I've purchased plushie patterns from So Day Soné. You can find them through my Instagram too, but she makes really cute stuff, and so I bought a bunch of patterns from her that I'm eventually going to make some things. So that's it. You know, pick containers that work for you if you need something open, right? So over here, I decided to get this open shelf for my cardstock and my paper, which I use a lot for like making labels or writing notes or things to people. And so I use it a lot. And so it's got this, these are pull out. This is metal. It's not plastic, because I didn't want it to bow. I hate plastic ones. I found this on Amazon. It was cheap. And then get yourself cute stuff sometimes. These containers, look at, it's got zippers in it. And how cute is this container? And it's super heavy duty. I got it at TJ Maxx for like $5. And it's really heavy duty. I bought a ton of them. I bought like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I bought 10 of them in different sizes to give myself some other cool stuff to look at. I love the aesthetic. I love the flowers. So, you know, make it fun. Makes, you know, storing stuff. They come in a bunch. Like, here's this one. This one's kind of a different color scheme. So, you know, buy whatever you think will work. The other thing is keep the receipts. Try it out. If it doesn't work, return it, right? As long as you don't ruin it. Most places will take the return. Target will take a return. TJ Maxx will take a return. So leave the tags on, keep the receipt, try it out in your space and say, okay, do I like these? No, that's not really my style. That's fine. Pick something else, right? Like I said, I'm a locking lid kind of gal. Maybe you want little containers that have open ends on every end. Like, right, it's maybe something like this tilted sideways. So you can just grab whatever it is out of the container. That's fine. Do that. Figure it out. Another great place to go is the Container Store. That's a dangerous place for me because I love storage and I love containers and I love organizing. So I could spend a lot of money in there, but it's a great place because it can give you ideas. So even if you don't want to spend money in there, because sometimes their stuff's pricey, sometimes it's not, just depends. But you can go in there and get storage ideas, which is kind of fun because you can see what they've done. Sometimes they'll have closets set up or things. So you can get some ideas of like, oh, I think this kind of container would work for me. And again, try it out, ask what the return policy is, see if it works. And if it doesn't, take it back, get something else, right? So that's it for some of this today. I just thought I'd give a quick blurb about kind of some of the containers I use, what I like. Again, I'm a huge fan of the Billy bookcases. They're really interchangeable. You can get them. You can get doors for them. They sell solid doors. They sell glass doors. They sell half wood, half glass, where it's wood on the bottom, glass on the top. So if you wanted to close some of this off but see some of it, you could do that. And it's not a super expensive set of stuff to do because we have the Billy bookcases downstairs that actually have books in them, and we did half glass, half wood. So that way in the bottom we can store a bunch of crap that nobody needs to see, and on the top is where we have all our books. So that way we can see them and it's nice to look at. So maybe I'll show you guys that next time if you want to see kind of my bookcase storage. Again, we did the whole back wall at our house with Billy bookcases because we have a lot of books. We have almost 1,000 books in our house. It's a good way to store, and it's inexpensive, and people are like, oh, IKEA stuff's cheap. So far I've had these specific Billy bookcases for my studio for 8 years now, and they've gone through 3 moves, and they've done well, haven't gotten chipped, haven't gotten messed up. We've been careful with them, but with all the moving and all the stuff I'm putting in and off the shelves, they've lasted really well. I've been impressed for how inexpensive they were and how well they've held up over time. So that's my 2 cents about the IKEA Billy bookcases. If you don't have an IKEA near you, you can find something, right? There's shops. You could shop online too. I'm sure they deliver. So, okay, that's it. Again, if you have questions, send me a message. I'll have another video next Saturday. I'm not sure what yet. If you think of something cool you want to see or you have questions about organizing, ask me. I'll do a video about it. So just send me a message. I'm here. I'm willing to help out. I'm going to keep just plugging along at showing you guys some of the cool and organizational things I know and tips, and I'm just going to give them away to you guys, and hopefully you can use them and clear your space, declutter your life. Like, this is clean right now, but you should see my kitchen. I do live a little cluttery sometimes, so part of the journey of not just doing this is keeping up with it, okay? So maybe we'll talk about that next time. What are some tips to help you keep up the organization and keep up the clean once you get it there, right? Because getting to this point, cool. How do you keep up with it, okay? So we'll talk about it later. I will see you guys next time.